By about 8 a.m. Friday, we were up and moving. The car was loaded and we got some breakfast. Then a quick tour of Austin before we hit the road for the long trip back.
I'll make her get lower than a Lamborghini. And if she really getting loaded, I'ma shoot a video and put it all on. Cause I like that French vanilla, and the caramel, all the cups and chocolate. I know that Baron win. Asian persuasion. Oh, not me! I love how they seem to please us. I wanna taste that motherfucking vegan.
After a few hours of driving, it was obvious the boys needed to burn off some energy. Time for an exercise stop.
Run up to that red circle and back. The first one right here. There's a blue around it. Yeah. It's a circle with a bar through it. I want you guys to run up there and back as fast as you can. On your mark, set, go. Wait, there's a truck.
That's okay. It won't hurt too much.
Alright, I don't think he's pulling in here. Besides, you're not going on the road. Alright, on your mark, set, go.
He kind of runs like Sheldon.
It's all Sheldon. Alright. Alright, do it again. Jake, you're ahead. Run. Run. Jake, run. If you want cookies, you'll run. You gotta run one more time if you want your cookies. Alright, run one more time. Run to the sign and back, and then you can have your cookies.
That is too cute.
Alright, come on back, He-Man.
Yay! After a few more hours of driving, it was obvious the boys needed to burn off some more energy. Time for another exercise stop. Jake's kind of taking the long way, huh? Oh, there you go. Okay, who ran into who there? I was just going to say, Jake, I only counted 2. Too funny. We're on our side. While we were making great time when we were driving, we were making long stops, so then lost time. We kept coming up behind this truck being towed backwards. pulled over in the other lane and disappeared. By about 7 p.m. we'd arrived in El Paso and found a Super 8. We were done for the day. After driving for 8 hours, we were still in Texas. Oh, winding it? Chilling it?
What?
Chilling it?
Yeah.
Chill out. Hey, Katie. Huh?
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 You want me to have your pin? This is so fast. I want to get
Up early, and after enjoying our complimentary breakfast, we hit the road again. We want to get the hell out of Texas. After about 45 minutes, we had finally left Texas and were in New Mexico. Oh wait, we need to gas up, and the boys need to release some sugar. Well, just barely made it to the gas station. Thank God. Next stop, Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Originally named Hot Springs, the city changed its name to Truth or Consequences, the title of a popular NBC radio program. In 1950, Ralph Edwards, the host of the radio quiz show Truth or Consequences, announced that he would air the program from the first town that renamed himself after the show. Hot Springs won the honor. Edwards visited the town during the first weekend of May for the next 50 years. This event was called Fiesta and included a beauty contest, a parade, and a stage show. The city still celebrates Fiesta each year on the first weekend of May.
Probably the last place for another 250 miles.
The boys are getting the hungries and we are needing gas. We stop at a roadside store and gas up and get some munchies. After being on the road for another day, we pull into Gallup, New Mexico and find another Super 8 for the night. After we get settled, we realize we're on the historic Route 66. Waking up to a beautiful morning in Gallup, New Mexico, we realized it was going to take another 3 days of driving. After some breakfast, we hit the road. Next stop, Four Corners, USA. But before we leave, I had to check out the restored Ford Fairlane that was parked just outside our room and the surroundings of Route 66 in New Mexico. I think this was the worst day for Jake. He just didn't feel good at all. We stopped for some kids' Tylenol and Pedialyte and then gassed up at the Phillips 66 on Route 66. Let's go. After a few hours of boring driving, we finally made it. Four Corners, the only spot in the U.S. where the borders of 4 states intersect. Before we could even get to the ticket booth, Jake pukes all over. We get to the booth after a major cleanup. What? Cash only? 5 miles back to the trading post and an ATM. We are finally here. Okay, it was a nice diversion, but time to get back on the road. We hope to make it to Provo, Utah before we stop for the day. Jake was feeling a little better, and we gotta make some good travel time. We are traveling through some fantastic country, rock formations like I've never seen before. As we round a bend, I see what I like to refer to as the Bedrock Suites Resort, a curious rock formation out in the middle of nowhere. We finally made it to Provo, but drove on into Orem before we found a Super 8. Done. We pigged out on some KFC before hitting the hay. In the morning, we'll drive into Idaho and then to La Grande, Oregon. The final 2 days of driving were intense. We all so wanted this adventure to be over. We rounded a corner and saw a familiar sight. Water. Our destination for the night was one I knew and loved. La Grande, Oregon. I have driven that stretch from La Grande to Vancouver many times. It was a sign that we were nearly home. This was cause for celebration. I picked up a friend of mine in La Grande and we had a little party. The next morning we were up early. Jake was feeling a little better and we got some quick breakfast. Let's get this done and get home. I truly love this drive up I-84 along the Columbia River. We get our first view of Mount Hood, but we really know we're getting close. The clouds begin to appear. Because this leg of the trip was so familiar to me, I didn't get many pics or videos. This was no longer the prime mission. About 12:30 p.m. we pulled into our destination, Podunk, Washington. After a couple of weeks of me recuperating and Heather and the boys getting settled, we had a barbecue Washington style. As you can see, as Jake noms on a chicken leg, things were good.